I said, well, gotta go down with a few octaves. When my daddy left home when I was 3, he didn't leave much to mind me, except this old guitar, an empty bottle of booze. Now I don't blame him 'cause he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought it was quite a joke, 'cause he got a lot of laughs from a lots of folk. Seems I had to fight my whole life through. Some guy would giggle and I'd get red. Some guy would laugh and I'd bust his head. I tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Yeah, this one. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fist got hard and my wits got keen. I roamed from town to town to hide my shame. Well, I made me a vow to the moon and stars. I'd search the honks and tonks and bars and kill that man that'd give me that awful name. Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July. I just hit town and my throat was dry. I went over to get myself a brew. So I went in an old saloon on the street of mud. At a table, deer and stud, such a mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from the worn-out picture that mother had. I knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and grey and old. I looked at him and my blood ran cold and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do?" "And you're gonna die," is what I told him. So I hit him right between the eyes and he went down, but to my surprise, he came up with a knife and cut off a piece of my ear. I busted a chair right across his teeth and we crashed through the wall into the street, kicking and gouging the mud, the blood and the beer. I tell you, I fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. I kicked like a mule and a bit like a crocodile. Well, I heard him laughing and I heard him cussing and he went for his gun, but I pulled mine first and he stood there looking at me and I saw him smile. He said, "Son, this world is tough, they're rough, and if a man's gotta make it, he's gotta be tough." And I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I gave you that name and I said goodbye, and I knew you have to get tough or die, and it was that name helped to make you strong. He said, "You just fought one hell of a fight, and I know you hate me and you got the right to kill me now, and I wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in your guts and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm the name you Sue." What could I do? I got all choked up and threw down my gun, called him a pal and he called me a son, and I went over with a different point of view. But I think about him now and then, every time I do and every time I win. If ever I have a son, I'm gonna name him Bill, George, anything but Sue, 'cause I hate that name.